Hello, welcome back to the Victorious Wool podcast. I'm Victoria. This is episode 26, I think. It has been a few weeks. I was hoping to record a few more times before Christmas, but didn't happen. It is December 21st, so I probably won't get this episode out before Christmas. Be just after. So I'm going to focus more on the new year and the things I've been thinking about for that, and less on like Christmas, which is what I'm doing this week anyway. I'm focusing on goal setting and planning for the next year. I didn't work on a lot of new things. I have some progress on some of the things that I was working on last episode, but I did purchase some interesting knitting tools that I wanted to talk about. I got a couple skeins of yarn, and I think there's some interesting things that I've been doing this week. I have a design coming out in January, a fingerless mitten design called Farmers Market Mittens, which are here. I have been wearing them. I shouldn't wear them until they're released or until I've taken a lot of photos of them, but I kind of glad I didn't wait because they're really warm. They're absolutely satisfying their intention, which is that I was cold at Farmers Market and I needed mittens that were going to be really warm. And this yarn from Custom Woolen Mills is really warm. It was a couple weeks ago at market and it was windy and rainy, and I remember thinking, my hands, it must not be that cold out. My hands are not cold, so I don't need my mittens. So I took them off and it was actually really cold. My mittens were doing such a good job. You would think that my fingers would still be cold because they're not 100% encased in wool, but man, it was really amazing. This wool is starting to felt a little bit, which is not bad at all. It's just that when I take photos of them, they're going to be less crisp than they were when we started out, but that's okay. This is the life that they're supposed to have. They've got cables on the little finger flap, cables on the cuff, and can't turn my hand that direction, cables on the thumb, and it starts the base of the cuff and goes all the way up to the thumb ribbing. So I'm really happy with these. This yarn has stretched a little bit, so they're a little longer than they need to be, but that is also okay. I was kind of thinking about making another pair, maybe in something like more colorful, and I might make them a little shorter because they have, what do I mean when I say that? They're a little bit bigger just from like wear, and so maybe I could make them shorter. I take that back. I think I'd make them a little bit, I was thinking about making the next size down and seeing how that fit me, because they've gotten a little wider. They haven't gotten shorter, right? They should get a little wider and a little shorter. I'm confusing myself. Anyways, they're a pretty good fit still, and they are suiting the purpose really, really well. So I'm really happy with that. And I also brought up my other pair of fingerless mittens because these also have a cable on the thumb. They're fairly different. They're a lot longer. They're meant to be like scooched up, but the cable runs along the back of the hand and on the thumb. So it starts at the base of the hand and goes up the thumb only instead of all the way up. And I was taking pictures and doing a little video of the two of them together because they, they have thumb cables, and so they're kind of related. I really like the Zever pair. Should also knit these in a different color because I was afraid if I worked in them then they would not be white for very long. So I kind of wear them when I'm like just gonna walk or something. But yeah, it's fun to have two thumb cable pairs of mittens. Zever is available now. I published this I think in 2008, my first year designing, and these will come out, like I said, in January. So yeah, very, very happy with those. I don't always know if things are going to work out when I design them. If the purpose they were intended for is actually going to work out, and I'll use them, and I am. So I'm really happy with that. Let's see, what else do I showed you a swatch last time. This is a beautiful swatch. I love this swatch. I haven't blocked it yet. I did finally today do the like thinking through of doing another swatch. I'm a little tired right now with this, and I know that's dark, and it is the shortest day of the year. Today's December 21st, and I was going to check before I started recording to see when the sun's going to go down and when the sun came up to like give a time reference, but it's something like 4:15 the sun goes down. It's like really, really dark by 5, and then it doesn't rise before 8 something. So, 2/3 of the day today for sure is going to be really dark. So it's going to be hard to see. This is black yarn anyway. This is the back side of a swatch I did for something else. Yeah, you really can't see it. It's just a subtle texture in the Lopi yarn where you're doing a 3x1 rib offset. So 2 rows, you do 3 in 1, and then you move it over a few stitches, and it creates this just like subtle little pearl. And I really like it. And I'm thinking that I'm going to try to do that pattern on the sides of the cables because I like the ridges, but I thought I really like this other pattern, and so I want to see the two of them together. So I'm going to try to start that swatch today, but I haven't worked on that idea. Hopefully that, if I get the stitch patterns set, then I can start making the sample, and maybe I'll get that out by the end of February. I do have a whip that's just a little sock, 2x2 ribbing. I think I cast on 34 stitches on a size 1. Generally that works for me. I've gotten out of the habit of knitting socks because I knit a lot of pairs in 2020. I think end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I knit quite a few pairs of socks, which were very successful. I knit many pairs that fit me really well. And then I kind of hit a funk where I was trying out different patterns or stitches or whatever, and I used different yarns and ended up with some socks that didn't fit great. And so, if you're working on something and you consistently don't get good results, it's hard to want to keep going. So I took a sock break. All those pairs that didn't work out, I give to my mom. My mom and I have the same size feet, and she loves hand knit socks. So anything that I end up not liking, I'll just give it to her. And I'm kind of actually thinking I'm going to give these to her anyways, whenever I finish them, because we'll see. I just wanted to get back in the mojo, sock knitting mojo. I just wanted to knit a bright color, something fun, because I have gray, white, and black projects right now, and so I need something fun. This is a Homespun House Plump Merino, which is I think 80% 80% superwash merino with 20% nylon, I think. But it's makes very nice socks. I have knit with this before. And I think this is Disco Taco. And this is a funky skein of Disco Taco. It's usually a lot more green than this, but I just got a bummer skein, I think, which is fine. It's really beautiful. And I think my mom will really like having pink socks. I also have put in some significant hours of time on my Flaum sweater talked about last week. I don't know. I think once I hold it up, or when I put it on my table to photograph, it does look bigger. It just doesn't look bigger when I work on it, because it's Fisherman's Rib that you're knitting flat. So it's actually really slow. I thought I would knit this whole cardigan in like 2 weeks, and that was, I don't know, 2 months ago almost. Because I can work on it for 4 to 6 hours and make like maybe an inch of progress. I worked on it for a long time yesterday, and I started this little here, and I got that far. So it's kind of sad. It's just something I have to plug away at, which is perfect because, you know, we all need those projects that we can just plug away on, especially when I'm designing and I have to make all these decisions and I have to swatch and I have to agonize. Should it be this? Should it be that? I don't know. No one else is going to make these decisions. I have to make them. It's nice to then just sit down and just work on the same thing over and over and over. And it can be something like Fisherman's Rib or Brioche or even a more complicated pattern if I have it memorized. It just needs to be hours and hours of the same. So yeah, and it's very squishy. This is Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, which is obviously it's a really great yarn if you've never used it before. Very light. So I look forward to, I think I've got 5 inches and I'm supposed to have 8, so I need 3 more. Oh yeah, I didn't pour my tea. I have this like it catches the loose leaf in the top, but these teas from my David Tea Advent are very, very fruity. So if anybody saw my reel on Instagram, I did make a reel of cozy things that I do before I knit, and I made tea, and I have a whole box of a tea every day for a tea advent from David's Teas, which is a Canadian company. And they're very fruity. Like, I picked the herbal version. You can get matcha and you can get black or caffeinated matcha and herbals. And the herbals are really mostly fruity. There's been a couple of smaller plant leaf teas. And I primarily drink leafy teas. So it was really odd to me be like, oh, they're almost all gonna be fruity. They're not bad. They're really tasty. I just never buy those. And I don't actually buy loose leaf very often. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. This one is very sweet. The cool thing about it is, you know, I'm getting to try out 24 teas. So that's just fun. Some of them had marshmallows. The first one that had marshmallows in it they were regular size. Not the jumbo, but like the regular ones you put in hot cocoa. I was like, whoa, what is that? What is that going to do to my tea? And then the second time they were like little purple star marshmallows. So it's very cute. Let's see. The last whip I want to show you is, I don't think I had worked on this one for a long time. I cast on the Great Love cardigan. It's another open cardigan. I'll write down the designer's name in my show notes because I can't remember it right now. And I had just a little bit, and that was in September. So now I have this fun shape. So this is the collar that's going to be folded over. And then you add stitches for the shoulders, and you knit like the whole upper back section. And you won't be able to see the stitch pattern on this yarn either. It's also black, but I've been using Progress Keepers with no abandon because I wanted to, well, I got some new ones. So I got this like little, it kind of looks like a lima bean. They were advertised as kawaii, which is that, I don't want to say it incorrectly. I believe it is a cuteness culture in Japan that has been around. Hello Kitty. It's been around for a really long time. But this Charmed and Dangerous is the company name, and they had like little faces. This is new Snowy Peak, and the little lima bean, and then there was this snow-covered pine cone. And it's sort of in like a Christmassy winter theme, so I used my pumpkin pie from Kraken Maid. Hi, Eden. And have a little nutcracker. I think the nutcracker is from Lockandlou. And this one is also from same place. A little Christmas tree, or a little snowy tree. And I'm at the point now where something needs to happen. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I believe this is the magic of doing weird constructions. I believe this little bit here is going to be, I think it's all going to be strung on a needle. This whole section on both sides. And then I'll be making like the collar and the body at the same time, which is exactly what the other light gray cardigan is. They're slightly different. They're made by, you know, obviously different designers, different countries. I just happen to be knitting them both at the same time. But I'm really happy with this. This has been fun. It's not Fisherman's Rib, so it's faster. I think I did this in a few days. And I realized that what I like to have when I have a few different whips, what I like to do is work on all of them relatively in a 2-week period or something like that, so that I don't feel like I'm super behind. Like if I just focus on one thing for a really long time, that's great and I can make a lot of progress, but I think I feel less overwhelmed if I'm working on everything a little bit. So that's why when I picked that sweater back up, I actually had done something wrong and I had to make another piece. I had done the back, collar, neck in 2 pieces, and you were supposed to do one side and then pick up and do the other side. And yeah, so I had to go back and change that. That's it for like physical knitting. I got 2 skeins of Kelbourne Woolens Scout. This green one is called Juniper Heather. It's kind of like a medium green. It's really dark in here because there's not very much light today. It's nice though. I picked it not because I really love Scout. Scout is 100% wool. It's a DK. They make a fingering weight version of this yarn too called Camper, which I haven't tried yet. I just love it. It's so nice. I have a thick colorwork cowl, and I made something else, didn't I? It's funny that I can't think of it. I have made a lot of things, so it's easy to forget stuff. I think I've used it for something else too. I can't remember. I have a lot of it. Maybe that's just it. I have a lot of it up there. I bought the gold color, the black, and the teal, and the oatmeal. The oatmeal heather is from Kelbourne Woolens in Scout, is the best oatmeal color I've ever come across. I love oatmeals. I have a whole cardigan in it. This is not that yarn, it's something else. But anyways, these yarns are for Caitlin Hunter's, just for the halibut, cowl, and hat. And so I'm probably going to pair each one with the oatmeal heather, which I already have. I think I'll do the hat first. I'm going to do a little fish cowl with my friend Tanya after Christmas. And this one just has really, it's navy blue, but it's also got little bits of lighter blue in it. It's called navy heather. I didn't get around to saying that. But yeah, and then maybe I'll make the cowl with this one. Or I just also wanted just to get the green because I've never gotten a green in their palette before. I do wish their palette was a little bit more, I guess a little more saturated and more options. Like there's not very many. It's such a good yarn that I wish they had more colors. Okay. So I wanted to share, just looking for this thing. Wanted to share my tools that I got recently. Kind of early Christmas presents, you could say. I would have bought them anyway, but it's Christmas, so I might as well call them a Christmas present. I got a basket. I have, oh, so many of these. It's a big one compared to my head size. This is probably one of the bigger ones. But it's not as big. I have a couple that are bigger. But it was kind of like in between the bigger ones that I have that are not really, I don't move those around. They just they hold things in the space, and this one, which I use all the time. So this is like my absolute favorite one, and lately with the 3 sweater whips I have, there's just been too much to carry around and it gets too heavy. So I got another one. I got this basket from a street vendor. I go to Farmers Market in Seattle every week, and I was in my car about to drive into market to unload all of our supplies that we sell, or our cheese and supplies. And this guy was unloading a table on the street, baskets, and he was actually there the other day too. He's been there for 2 weeks. And it was early in the morning. It was probably 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And so I was like, I bet he hasn't sold any yet. And I saw one from the car. I was like, that blue one, which is this one, that looks like it's just a little bigger than the one I already have that I use all the time. And so I parked and then walked over there, and he was very friendly, and we had a little chat. I told him about, I have so many baskets. I'm really addicted to them. Anyways, it sits right here. And it's got a couple sweater whips in it. Very happy about that. I haven't bought one in a long time. I did buy a basket off of the Cocoknits website recently that's really big, but that's sort of like for clothes. It's hanging on my door handle here. I don't want to have something in that one. I want to be able to use it as a come and go, putting things in, taking things out. Then I got something that I didn't know existed before. This is the first time I've taken it out of the container. So there are these little plastic, these smell interesting. They're called the Knitting Barber, the company is, and they're Barber cords. You may have seen them before. It is a tube that I haven't done it yet, but apparently, see if I can get apparently you can, yeah, totally. It'll attach onto the, there we go, tip of my needle, and it's long. So then if I want to try my sweater on, I can attach it to one end and then grab the other end and pull the cord through all the stitches. So it's basically like a stitch holder if I want to try my sweater on. As soon as I saw that online, I had to get them. Got some for my mom for Christmas too, because she hates doing that. Oh man. Because, you know, depending on how big your sweaters are, my mom makes bigger size sweaters. It can take her like 2 hours to try her sweater on. No joke. I don't know why, but it's like a slow process to not like ruin or drop any stitches. And so I think she's going to be so excited about this. I got her some pink ones. But I got her, the little tin comes with 2 30-inch lengths and then a 60-inch length. So I think that should be plenty. But yeah, I'm really excited about these. I haven't had to put a sweater on waste yarn in a while. Usually I attach a longer cable on my interchangeable needles, which I use most of the time for knitting sweaters. So I just like add a bigger cable in there, and then I can pull the stitches off the tips. But this will be faster because you just have to pop it on the end and then you pull the needle out. And then when I'm thinking about it, because I haven't done it yet, when you go back to put your needle back on, you do the same thing. You poke the needle tip into the barber cord and then you pull it back in through. So it should be pretty, you know, like 30 seconds or less. That's a pretty cool knitter's tool that I had never heard of before. And I'll link to the website where I got them. I think they were pretty affordable. Maybe $15 for the tin. The last thing that I got was these. So this is the Cocoknits magnetic board. I did talk about it on Instagram this week. The whole board is magnetic, and you can get all these magnetic tools from them too. I think the board itself is $30, and then there's all these add-ons. It comes with a set of little magnets, and then you can get a cable needle that has a metal metallic bit on it. You can get their stitch counters that have a magnet on the back. You can get their ruler set, which is, this isn't a ruler, this is a needle gauge, and their ruler set with the needles right there. I like being able to have the ruler. I can pull it off and measure my sweater. And then it snaps back on, and you can use the ruler or the needle gauge to mark your part in the pattern. What else? I discovered that this is a set of, I think they're brass stitch rings. These are my favorite. From Riv Creative. They have a big safety needle type thing that has a magnet that it attaches. They have stitch markers that are magnetic. They're right here. And then there's the crochet hook and the tapestry needle. I'm remembering what everything's called. That are also magnetic. That I had already. Everything I had, almost everything I had already. I didn't have the rulers. I had the row counters. I had the cable needle. I had the tapestry needle. I had the crochet hook. I did not have the stitch markers. I just got one little set. Anyways, you can put your pattern up on there and put it rests in the bed when I'm sitting on my bed. Probably the unexpected cool feature is that when I want to carry it around or put it away, it does actually close up. And everything that's magnetic in there stays put. Nothing's fallen out. And so you could probably even tuck it into something like a bookshelf or whatever. Because I don't always have to follow a pattern. I don't always have to look at a pattern a lot when I'm knitting it. Right now the Flaum sweater is, I know those rows. Although I do look at those rows, sometimes I don't need to look at the pattern. Anyways, so I haven't been using it every day, but I have been using it for that sweater pattern that is attached to that one. So I'm really happy with that. And they didn't have it in stock, I think, when I discovered they existed. And so I put my email in and they emailed me when they came. Back in stock, and then I ordered it right away. So I love it. The only other thing I wanted to talk about is the end of the year. And usually it's not that I wait, but I don't get around to goal setting until after January. A lot of people say this, but they do goals or intentions. They don't do resolutions, because resolutions has like a negative connotation to it. If you don't know who Elise Joy is on Instagram, she is very organized. She makes a living on organizational ideas. And I've been following her for a really long time. She sews, she knits, she quilts, she makes paper products and has a shop. I believe it's gettoworkbook.com. I'll link to her stuff below too. But she's awesome. And she learned to throw pottery this year and do all kinds of different things. But I have her planner. Here's the Get to Workbook. I love it. There's a tote sticker there too. And in the back, she's got a pocket. And I put my bubble sheet goal trackers in here. And the goal trackers are from her as well. I think you could probably go, I think you have to email her to get it. It's part of like being a newsletter subscriber that every year we get a bubble sheet. And I have tried unsuccessfully to know where to store these pieces of paper. I need them to be able to, I need to see them on a regular basis, and I also need to not have them out. I can't have anything out. So I was trying to figure out where it just fits in the pocket of her planner really well. And I only did 5 this year, 5 goals. But it's got a bubble for every year. I started early, so I made bubbles for this week. This says that I want to start the day and start the day and work day at 8 a.m. So whether or not I'm working or have a day off, I want to be up and doing something by 8. And that probably seems super late. If it seems late to anybody, remember I don't have kids and I work from home and it's super dark. So it is difficult to rise. It's not difficult right now. I'm in a really good habit, but there have been times where it's like I don't have to get up and start working at any particular time. So I've been doing really good. Anyway, I just want to make sure that I keep on that goal because it affects a lot of other things. If I start work at 8 a.m., it means that I get yoga done before, because I work from 8 to 11:15. Then I do yoga from 11:15 to lunch. Then I have lunch, and then I work from 1 to 5. And if I start the day right, that'll all happen. So getting up at that time. Anyway, you can probably get these velvet sheets if you send her a DM or if you email her. Or maybe they're on her website. I'm not sure. I get the newsletter, so I've got just a few more on here. I didn't read very much. Who read in 2021? I might get to 20 books if I'm really good and I read a couple more things. I think I have to read 4 more, actually. I don't think I have time for that. But anyway, I made a bubble sheet for reading. And some like taking care of my body stuff, and then my exercise one. So those can all go in my planner. I'm excited about that. This is one of those dorky organizational things that when I realized that I could use color coding highlighters and I could fold them up and tuck them in the back of my planner. So I'm trying to rely more and more and more on this one planner. I'm kind of a paper person who buys like a lot of things and then doesn't use them, which is not a real problem. I just always have loved paper and always loved notebooks. In fact, a friend of mine called me recently and said, I'm looking for a notebook and I have some particular specifications. Do you think you could gather some of your books and bring them over and show me so I can make a decision? And I was like, that's flattering. Oh, they think that I know things. So I started looking through my empty notebooks and I had so many to bring to show to my friend of all these different companies. I had ones from Italy and like a lot of different ones that I had forgotten about. And so I had probably like 10 different choices for them to look at. So I was like, you asked the right person that question, because I really do have a lot of variety. But I'm trying to rely more and more on just this one book and use it for a bunch of different things. Something I used to do a year ago, the knitting planner by Jen Gaglia, I was using the month at a glance page to write down just what project I worked on every week, not for how long or what spot I got to, but just what I worked on that day, the name of the pattern. And I really liked being able to look back and see, oh, in July I worked primarily on this project and then I started this one, or I worked on that a little bit here. I just understood my knitting past really well, and I want to do that. I don't think keeping a separate notebook is useful for me right now, so I'm going to try to do it in this planner. I did realize the whole highlighting thing. That's a tip from Elise Joy. So she has her planner that she uses, and when she does a task, she highlights it. And it kind of looks, I'll just show you real quick. It looks like this, right? And what it does is when you check something off or cross something out, you can't really see it. So it allows you to still read what you wrote, but also it highlights what you did as opposed to what you didn't do. So I can like look down at my notebook and be like, oh yeah, look, I did almost everything on the list yesterday, because it's almost all highlighted except for one thing. And that just feels really good. And then I got different color highlighters, and every day I use a different color, and the colors don't mean anything in this context. They just mean they're just pretty because they're different colors for each day. But yeah, that was really fun. I got really excited about that. And then I also got a new pen, pencil, desk organizer, just a little wooden one that, you know, you get stagnant in your workplace or in your living space and you need some just to change things up or get something new to revamp and get excited about working in that space again. So, and I was able to put all my pencils into this one square organizer, and then the whole rest of the bottom of the desk is all clean. There's very little clutter. So it felt really good. And that's kind of like the theme of this week, is to plan for next year and declutter a little bit so I feel less congested in January when it's harder to work anyway because it's really dark and cold and not so hopeful. Regardless of how much people try, January is just hard. And I hope this will help. I did watch a class on Creative Live yesterday about workflow efficiency, which is super boring sounding, and it was pretty good. I hadn't used workflow ideas before, and I can link to that class below too. It was probably 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, lecture style, and so I knit while I did it and wrote some good notes down. And basically what you do is you outline all of your projects that you have going in one file so you can see everything that you've got to do, and you've got all your deadlines there and all the people that you need to contact if you're collaborating with them. And it's got things like what the description of the project is and where you are in the project, and then place for action items. So today, my action item this morning was to do a lot of Instagram stuff because I have not been posting on Instagram a lot lately. I go in and out of finding that kind of work inspiring, and so usually there are these long periods of time where I'm like, I don't want to post anything because I don't have any photos. And so one of the first steps is you gotta have photos. So I did a bunch of different really fun, creative photography and video things earlier today. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been thinking about and doing. I hope that if goal setting and planning ahead works for you, that you're excited about the new coming year. And you're welcome to share your organizational goals. Like, what's your favorite organizational tool or like aspect or like system that you use that gets you most inspired and like most motivated to work? Because organization in and of itself is sometimes inspiring enough to, like, when I cleaned my desk off, like I have a standing desk. I wanted to stand at it and work, which I haven't been standing at my standing desk very much for quite a while, because you just get out of the habit of being at your desk when you work, because you can work anywhere. But yeah, let me know if you've got anything fun that you've discovered over time. The longer I live, the more fun it gets, organization-wise, and the tidier I become. I may be developing some OCD tendencies due to COVID. I'm not sure, but it kind of seems like it. It's how much cleaner everything has gotten, how much more time I clean, and things get untidy, and then like I do them. I was not like that when I was in my early 20s. Okay. Oh, lastly, I'm wearing Meet Cute Cowl, which if it gets cold, you can do this. It's fun. And it is cold enough right now. I took pictures outside today. I took these fun pictures of me wearing all of my designs at once. And I wasn't cold once I had everything on. But it's like, 35. It might snow this week. It snowed. There was snow coming from the clouds yesterday. It did not stick, but it was rather wet. But we could get snow on and off for the next few days, which is fun because it's Christmas. I've never had a white Christmas, as I've never been anywhere else for Christmas either. We have had a big snowstorm come in the day after Christmas, so I've had sort of Christmassy white time, but never has it actually had snow on the ground on a Christmas. But yeah, it's been super cold, so I'm really loving the knitwear. Meet Cute has seed stitch and brioche alternating with 3 different colors. So once you're done with the Christmas knitting and you want to make something for yourself that's really fun, it's just really fun. It's really great to transition between the two. Yeah, there's the other side too, because it's reversible. And this was made with Farmer's Daughter fibers in York, Dumpling, and elk antler. Okay, I gotta go do some more work. I hope you have a good New Year's, and you'll see me in 2022. Bye.